Picture this, a ship longer than 2 football fields, carrying enough iron ore to build the Eiffel Tower 5 times over, vanishing without a trace in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. No distress call, no wreckage, no survivors. 44 souls simply gone. For 14 years, families demanded answers. What they discovered would change maritime law forever. This is the story of the MV Derbyshire, the largest British ship ever lost at sea. September 1980, the port of Liverpool. The MV Derbyshire towers over the docks like a steel mountain. At 294 meters long and weighing 91,000 tons, she's one of the most impressive vessels in the British merchant fleet. Built just 4 years earlier in 1976, the Derbyshire is what's known as an OBO carrier, designed to transport oil, bulk cargo, or ore. Her hull is painted a distinctive red and black, and her massive cargo holds can swallow 160,000 tons of material. But size doesn't equal safety. On July 11th, the Derbyshire departs from Sept Îles, Canada, with a full load, 157,000 tons of iron ore bound for Kawasaki, Japan. It's a routine voyage across the Pacific, one the crew has done many times before. 42 crew members are on board. Most of them are from Liverpool, with wives and children waiting for their return. 2 officers have even brought their wives along for the journey, a common practice at the time for long voyages. The captain is 55 years old, with decades of experience commanding cargo vessels. His crew trusts him completely. As the Derbyshire cuts through the Atlantic, then rounds South America and heads into the vast Pacific, everything seems normal. Daily position reports come in like clockwork. The weather is fair. The ship is making good time. By early September, they're approaching Japanese waters, just days away from port. Then the weather begins to change.
September 8th, 1980. Weather forecasts warn of a tropical storm forming in the western Pacific. Its name? Typhoon Orchid. The Derbyshire's crew monitors the situation closely. These storms are dangerous, but merchant vessels face them regularly. The protocol is clear. Adjust course, reduce speed, and ride it out. At 11 p.m. on September 8th, the Derbyshire sends a routine position report. They note encountering heavy weather, but nothing the ship can't handle. The message is calm, professional. Everything is under control. Or so they think. What the crew doesn't know is that Typhoon Orchid is intensifying rapidly, and the Derbyshire is sailing directly into the most dangerous part of the storm, what meteorologists call the dangerous semicircle. By the morning of September 9th, the Derbyshire is trapped. Waves towering 15 meters high, as tall as a 5-story building, slam into the vessel. The ship pitches violently as winds scream at over 150 kilometers per hour. Rain reduces visibility to almost zero. Inside the cargo holds, 157 tons of iron ore shifts with every roll of the ship. This creates tremendous stress on the hull. The crew battles to keep the Derbyshire on course, fighting against nature's fury. They've been through storms before. This ship was built to withstand the worst the ocean could throw at it. But Typhoon Orchid has other plans. At some point during September 9th, something catastrophic happens. A rogue wave, possibly 20 meters high, crashes over the bow of the Derbyshire. The force is unimaginable. The ship's cargo hatch covers, designed to withstand only 2 meters of water pressure, are completely overwhelmed. They buckle. They fail. Thousands of tons of seawater flood into the cargo holds in seconds. The Derbyshire's bow dips lower, then lower still. With the forward compartments flooded, the ship's balance is destroyed. The stern rises out of the water as the bow plunges deeper. The crew has no time to send a distress signal, no time to abandon ship. The entire event takes minutes, perhaps even seconds. The MV Derbyshire, all 294 meters and 91 tons of her, plunges bow first into the Pacific Ocean. She disappears 230 miles off the coast of Okinawa, Japan, sinking to a depth of 4,200 meters, deeper than the wreck of the Titanic. 44 people vanish with her.
September 10th, 1980. When the Derbyshire fails to make her scheduled position report, alarm bells start ringing. The ship's owners, Bibby Line, immediately contact maritime authorities. On September 15th, an official search begins. Aircraft comb the area, ships scan the waters. They find nothing. No wreckage, no oil slick, no lifeboats, no bodies. It's as if the Derbyshire never existed. After 6 days, the search is called off. The ship and her 44 souls are declared lost. For the families left behind in Liverpool and across Britain, the pain is unbearable. But worse than the grief is the not knowing. How does a ship that massive simply vanish? What went wrong? Could their loved ones have survived longer than anyone thinks? The official investigation concludes quickly, perhaps too quickly. The verdict? The ship was lost to severe weather. Case closed. But the families refused to accept this. Led by determined relatives who formed the Derbyshire Families Association, they began a 14-year campaign for answers. They demand a proper investigation. They demand the truth. The British government resists. Searching for a shipwreck 4,200 meters deep would cost millions. And what would it prove? The ship is gone. Everyone is dead. But the families don't give up. They organize, they lobby, they keep the pressure on. Years pass. The memory of the Derbyshire begins to fade from public consciousness. But not for the families. Never for them. Then, in 1994, something remarkable happens. Funded by maritime unions and the International Transport Workers Federation, an underwater search expedition is launched. Using cutting-edge sonar technology, they scanned vast stretches of the Pacific seabed. On the final day of the search, they find her. The wreck of the MV Derbyshire lies in pieces on the ocean floor, 4,200 meters down. Remote-operated vehicles descend into the darkness to investigate. What they discover is shocking. The ship didn't just sink, she broke apart. The bow section is separated from the stern. The cargo hatches are blown open from the inside. The evidence tells a clear story. A massive wave overwhelmed the forward hatches. Water flooded the cargo holds. The ship's structure, already under enormous stress, couldn't handle the load. She broke in half and sank in minutes. But here's the most disturbing part. The investigation reveals that the hatch covers on the Derbyshire, and on many other bulk carriers like her, were woefully inadequate. They were designed to handle calm seas, not typhoon conditions. In other words, the ship was sent to sea with a fatal design flaw.
The discovery of the Derbyshire's wreck changes everything. A formal reinvestigation is opened. This time, the findings are damning. The ship's cargo hatch design violated basic safety principles. Similar vessels in the British fleet have the same deadly flaw. The report notes something chilling. Between 1990 and 1991 alone, 25 bulk carriers were lost worldwide. Many likely suffered the same fate as the Derbyshire. The families had been right all along. This wasn't just bad weather. This was preventable. As a direct result of the Derbyshire investigation, sweeping changes are made to international maritime safety standards. Cargo hatch designs are strengthened.
inspection protocols become more rigorous. Ships are required to send more frequent position reports when in severe weather. These changes save lives. Ships that might have suffered the same fate as the Derbyshire now sail safely. But for the families of the 44 victims, no amount of reform brings their loved ones back. Today, memorials stand in Liverpool honoring the crew of the MV Derbyshire. Their names are engraved in stone, their sacrifice remembered. The Derbyshire herself remains on the ocean floor, entombed 4,200 meters down, a steel coffin in the darkness, the largest British ship ever lost at sea, and a reminder that sometimes the price of progress is paid in lives.
The story of the MV Derbyshire shows us that maritime disasters aren't always about human error or bad luck. Sometimes they're about systemic failures, design flaws that should never have existed. If you found this story as haunting as I did, hit that subscribe button. We're diving deep into maritime disasters that changed history, uncovering the truth behind ships that vanished and the people who fought for answers. Drop a comment below. What maritime disaster should we investigate next? And if you want to see the actual footage from the underwater search that found the Derbyshire, check the link in the description. Thanks for watching. Stay curious. And remember, the ocean never forgets.